Hi folks, this is Dino Bob in Teybidee Park, and today we're starting something a little different. Welcome to Triceratops Valley. This was a fairly ambitious project that I started, and it turned out that I didn't get anywhere near close to finishing it in the time to make a short, convenient video, even with speed building through most of it. So this is the first layout I was starting with. The habitat has been roughed out and closed in with rocks. There are paths going up the trail to where the Triceratops Valley Plaza will be. And that's what we're going to start building today. So as we turn around here, we're going to come down, and you're going to get to watch me change my mind in the course of this sort of series within a series on a lot of the individual elements of the area. I decided to start by laying out the principal buildings, and one of them, of course, will include a viewing area for our guests to look into the habitat. You can see I'm trying it out for size here and determining things like that, the fact that I need deeper walls for it to sit on, that I needed more space to project out into the valley the way I wanted it to, and needed to set it up so it would line up with the path. And then I started building the building. My idea was to have a main pass-through area for this first building to the viewing area, and subsidiary passages around either end. I'm putting the roof on at this stage mostly because I want to get a feel for just how much space it will take up and how much mass the building will have. I wanted to go with a little bit of a tropical theme because this park is in a tropical area, and I didn't want it just to be a simple box. So you can see me playing here now with making a second story for each of the two portions of the building, and then deciding that I needed to have that roof connect all the way across. Later you will see that I decided to have the second floor connect all the way across as well. So this goes on for a while, even as a speed build, so y'all have to kind of bear with me. However, as a side benefit, you get to see sort of the thought process that I was going through designing this thing with just sort of a general idea in my mind. I realized I had to have it connect to the path in a good way when I had located the building at the height I wanted it to be to project out in the valley. So I started building this ramp up to the plaza level. The next structure is intended to be a restaurant, and you can see here, and you'll see again later, that I'm gradually terraforming the area as I realize how much room I need and whether it's working out or not. I decided I wanted to be able to do some planting in the center of the plaza, so I did that, and then started yet another, still smaller building, and this will be public restrooms. Each of these things will have their own decorative theme, but there will be some similarities in them to help tie them all together. I didn't want the public restroom building to be as tall as the other two, so you saw me pulling walls down, and you'll see me have to adjust that again or move the roofs, was the dilemma that I was facing, and I decided to move the roofs and give it a little bit more of an overhang. So since it's a public restroom, I decided we needed venting up the top So I'm putting these drains to use as sort of louvered venting for this little roof cap that the building has. Obviously it's not functional, but just to add a little bit of the vibe to it. None of the other buildings will have this particular venting thing. And so in are going two of the large restrooms, because they will fill up a fair bit of the space. And you can see me playing adjustments about where to place them within the building. This is a jump now, to working on the restaurant again. And because the plaza is slightly elevated from the current ground level, I put in foundations. These are the stacked stone wall piece. And you'll also eventually see that I've decided that I wanted the color to be a little closer to the rocks that are being used in the habitat. The viewing building, of course, needed something to support its extra roofs out there. So I decided to go with the stone pillars. You will see me make some changes to these a little bit later in the series. Again, I had a general idea, but the whole thing kind of evolved as I built it, and sometimes got a better idea or saw something that I thought would make it more thematic. I did decide that these bump outs would have plantings on them, in part to break up the massiveness of that stone wall. And of course windows for the upper level. I was thinking that this would be general offices and staff areas when I started, but I came up with an idea a little bit deeper into the build that changed what I decided to do there. And again, you'll see that as we go along. I've got clogged sinuses today, so apologies for the nasal voice. I wanted to give our guests enough shade. It is a tropical park, and also shelter from the rain, but so that they don't all die of heat stroke. This habitat is pretty deep into the park. It's not taking up anything like the whole of the map, the park that is. So I haven't even gotten all the way to the back of the map yet. But it's still a pretty large park. Got over 50 animals in it, or will when the trikes go in. And a lot of custom builds of buildings and such. So, fairly high piece count. I was playing with what I wanted to do to put a separator in here. You saw the wide planks briefly, and I decided first that I would go with these more or less standard sized slat walls. And because I didn't want guests coming up over that ramp and onto the platform of the building. So big jump there. You see the roof has taken some extra detail with these little peaked roofs, and now I'm putting in ridge timbers to give it a little bit more architectural flair. All the walls in these buildings, by the way, are double walled, so that I can have one color on the outside and one color on the inside. And you can do that cutting down the Z fighting by getting one set of walls in place and then making it less thin with the gizmo tool, duplicating that and then slightly offsetting it in the direction you need it to go for whether you're doing the outside or the inside. As I think that I wanted the lighter color on the outside to work with that tropical vibe, but I wanted the possibility of making things more colorful on the inside. I'm not doing full interiors on all the buildings. I put those functional restrooms in there mostly to have the thing be functional as soon as possible. But you will see that I went back in and got more detailed. And I also, started rough and made the restaurant functional. And then again went back and made it a little more, I hope, sophisticated. So doing the framing work for these little roof bump outs on the restaurant to the principal doors into the structure. It can sometimes be fun trying to get all this stuff to line up and still look like it's actual timber framing. You can see the slat wall panels flanking on either side of the restaurant, and you may have noticed them also on the restrooms. That was something I wanted to do as a part of the way to connect the styling of the buildings. So we're working over here now on the non-public side of the restaurant building, and again, because of that elevated plaza level, I needed a way to look like the staff could get down and get into the restaurant in the back. Yeah, here's one of the changes. I'm starting to move the stone walls around the habitat portion in order to accommodate working with the building better. And I forget whether I recorded it or not, but there will be some adjustments of where the fences run in order to make that all work together better. So put in that slat wall where the staff would go, and framed it off with another pillar, and then I'll have to go back and put a door in there. That probably wouldn't be functional in the game even if we had staff, but then I just readjust the slat wall so it's a little bit clear of the door, which I would expect the guests to be able to walk through. That seems to be a pretty standard zoo game kind of thing. So you saw a couple of moments ago by working on the color of the building and trying out different things, and now making that same thing happen here on the main viewing building. I will be doing some interior work on the viewing building because I want this to be a guest area as well as a viewing pavilion. So, obviously there's restrooms and restaurant, and what's missing? Shops. So, gotta have shops. Gotta soak those guests for every last dollar to feed the animals, because these guys eat a lot. Big animals. So a little fussing around, a lot of back and forth kind of stuff. And then a pull out to the current state of the build, because we've come to the end of this video. Like it. If you thought this was interesting, we'll be back with more detailing on the buildings and eventually animals. So until then, this is Dino Bob signing off. Be kind to each other, and you all take care till you stop by for another video. Bye now.